Hi, Graeme from Playfair Finance here. Just really following on from my previous buy-to-let posts, I just wanted to kind of go through some of the criteria that may make a buy-to-let or through a specialist buy-to-let lender almost be able to be viewed as a commercial mortgage. With the advent of interest-only commercial mortgages, the two products are very similar. But people who are providing commercial mortgages tend to be a little bit less concerned about adverse credit, for example, or maybe where there's some issues with legal title. So the property or the portfolio or the asset looking to be financed has some complications. So it may be best sometimes to put it through a commercial loan. But if it isn't a commercial loan and it is a buy-to-let, then there are certain things that will make it more complicated, which will mean that you will be looking at a different level of lend. So, for example, a specialist lender will probably be the cheapest because they'll have an introductory rate, albeit it'll revert to a higher rate after the introductory rate finishes. Whereas these tend not to exist on commercial mortgages or potentially tier 2 and tier 3 buy-to-let lenders. So they seem more expensive, but at the outset. So some of the examples really, I'm just going to read off here some of the examples as to the things that might make it a more complicated case. Limited company, SIC restrictions might make it a little bit more complicated, so it'll be more expensive. Adverse credit history, multi-let freeholds, so HMOs, holiday lets, service accommodation, Airbnbs, they're treated slightly more complicated, so that's really a kind of not a vanilla buy-to-let, it's a commercial lend. So the type of tenancy as well can have an impact. So if it's a professional tenant or maybe a DHS tenant or even student accommodation, so they'll all have slight different risks associated with them. Nationality of the borrower, income of the borrower. So if it's either very low or it's just derived purely from property, some lenders don't like that. They like you to have a secondary income. Your experience. Whether you're looking for a high loan to value but there's a low generation of rent, so the risk for the lender is much higher, so that, again, that'll put it into a higher rate. Whether it's new build, newly converted, or the low property value. So there are some of the instances certainly where it can be a little bit more complicated, and as a result it can kick you into a slightly different tier of lend. It doesn't mean it's impossible to do, but certainly there'll be complications that need to be addressed when proposing a case. So if you're falling into those categories, or you want to even just have a chat and see if we can assist, then please give me a call or comment below.